Riverside. All right. Welcome everyone. It is 11:30 sharp on the East Coast.
Yep, East
8:30 on
Coast.
the West Coast. And you are watching again us live. No Jazz, NOJASS. Welcome to not just another sports show, also affectionately known as No Jazz. I am your host, KD, and of course, I got alongside me my main man. Oh shoot, can't do that. Can't do that. Okay, yeah, we go. We good. I got my main man rolling with me, always rolling with me. My main man. We out here.
What's up,
We out here
peoples?
on the win tonight. Um, everything sharp, everything smooth, rocking and rolling. Heading into week 7. Good for some people, bad for others. But you know, it's the season still hadn't really got into gear yet because I am not really officially watching football. But before I begin, I'm watching football. Don't get me right, but I'm not officially counting football. You know, I'll get to that a little later. But before we begin, I just want to thank everyone for joining us on Facebook. Of course, on my page, DUPONTNIVEK. It might be a Z in there somewhere, but you can find me. In the locker room. That's our other channel where we can be found live. We are currently live on TikTok. Welcome to everybody on TikTok. That's No Jazz Show, NOJASSSHOW. Also live on our page on Facebook, No Jazz Show, NOJASSSHOW. Live on Instagram, DTHE No Jazz Show. THENOJASSSHOW. We are rocking and rolling on Riverside. We got some people that be chatting in the Riverside. You know, sometimes they don't have anything to do on a Wednesday night. They chat with us on the Riverside, you know, want to have some input. Shout out to them. All of our new followers that came this week on YouTube. On YouTube, you can find us at NOJASSSHOW, No Jazz Show, as it's so affectionately known. Now let's get into the people that pay the bills. We have, of course, order all of your food and order all of your deliveries for your rideshare delivery needs, whether it be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Order it from Light Snack, LYTESNACK. And make sure when you're ordering those deliveries from Light Snack, you're ordering, well, late at night, you're ordering those wings and fries from, of course, Magic City Wings, where their motto is don't forget to lick the sauce. Also, while you're licking the sauce, or when you finish licking the sauce, make sure you go over to QUIKVISITS.com, quickvisits.com, for all of your loungewear, lingerie needs. And it is getting to that fall, summer area where, you know, you might be wearing a little bit more. So we do have those in your styles and all that stuff for the ladies. Fellas, make sure you buy something for the ladies. It is getting close to that fall holiday birthday time. A lot of Scorpios coming up. You know, it's our season, and we about to Tank, you're a Scorpio too, right?
Yep.
Goddamn right. Goddamn right. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to me, you know, and my boy Troy Aikman. We share a birthday. But at any rate, for all of that, we are about to get into it. Baseball fans, you just saw, I think it was Toronto Blue Jays just won. We trying to kind of had to let that do its thing, you know, and chime in. But we are still on the baseball week, and of course, we are in that pleasurable time of the season where you're going to get a taste of some football, you're going to get a taste of some basketball, you're going to get a taste of some baseball. The big three are happening this fall in sports. And if I look a little tired, it is because I have been moving and shaking this week. You don't have to know my business, but I am getting myself prepared for a little rendezvous. You know, I'm not gonna tell you where I'm going, but hopefully when I come back, I'll be happy.
Going to lick the sauce.
I'm going to lick the sauce. And the thing about licking the sauce is my mother always says, don't let anybody steal your joy. But the problem with that is, it's let no man steal your joy. That's what it is. But the problem with that is it's a 60-man roster. And they just be taking joy away. But I'm gonna say about 11 of those guys. 11 of those guys. They may rotate like 15, 16. Really be stealing my joy. But we're gonna get into that a little bit later. Hopefully your favorite football team won this weekend. Shout out to all the winners.
Mine did.
Shout out to all the winners. Hold on, let me turn the chair down because I'm gonna take one second. Mine did. You know what I'm saying? What the young kids be saying out here? And did your team win? And did.
And did.
You know what I'm saying? Did my team win? And didn't. But this show is not about them. This show is not about them. Shout out to everybody. And we're gonna move right into it. I'm not going to even get into the scores because it's Wednesday. If you haven't seen the score by now, we're almost on Thursday Night Football. If you haven't seen the score by now, something wrong with you. If you haven't celebrated, if you haven't gotten your winnings, something wrong with you. Because we're not going to get into wow. We're not going to get into Florida State losing 3 straight. Man, I'm a poet and didn't even know it. But they did. Wow. Shout out to FAMU homecoming coming up this weekend. Wow. We got a lot of wows going on. I'm just trying to get everything in. Woo. Florida State coach lose another one. You might end up with Penn State coach as your coach because he was fired in the other week. So what's going on, man?
Yeah, and as far as coaching, coaches coming up available, there's a rumor that Dan Mullen is, possibly on the short list to be Penn State's new head coach. Right now he's coaching Georgia Southern. They're 6-0.
Right.
Not Georgia Southern, UNLV.
UNLV.
And he's got them at 6-0 for the first time since 1974. So
I hear you, man. Shout out to Dan Mullen. I hope you make it. University of Florida might be looking like that too. You think John Gruden go down there?
I'm not sure if Gruden is a college coach. I'm not sure if the way he is, if it'll work.
They want it, the itch. Because I believe that's what happened to Belichick.
Yeah.
He just had the itch, or he was just doing that for his son.
Yeah, I could see that because he is not a college coach at all.
A lot of people talking about and we're not going to get into Bill Belichick. He just kind of rolled off our tongue as we approach getting to the subject matter. A lot of people are talking about how Bill didn't have a discussion with Nick Saban to kind of say, hey, this is what's going on out here, man. Calm down.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that when you have boosters and alumni.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
It's a lot different. And speaking of a lot different, let's get right into it, man. We have whoa, hold on. I didn't mean to do that to you, TikTok. But shout out to the universe for clapping and cheering that I dropped stuff. That was right on time. Now, get right into it. We have a pending lawsuit. Top high school player out of Ohio. Let me read about it a little bit. Jameer Brown is country's top wide receiver in the class of 2027. Has filed a centerpiece of the lawsuit, filed state court in Ohio, seeks to allow him to benefit from his name, image, and likeness while in high school. Is that the one, Tank?
Yep, that's the one.
All right. I told Tank earlier, and I kind of meant this, but since it's NIL and then that's the news, we're gonna roll with it. But I don't believe in all the videos. I know you want to do that for your child. I don't believe in all the stars. I don't care about 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. But I do think about high school football when we get close to November, we get to the state championships and everybody is kind of spreading it, and we kind of see As my boy, rest in peace, Kenny Kelly daddy, Coach Floyd would say, when we separate the butter from the duck, that's when it mattered to me. But this young man is, after I read a little bit more, I found the importance of it because I knew this day was coming. I knew this precedent was coming because it's a trickle down theory where everyone wants to benefit from NIL. And I believe a lot of people are seeing what the boosters in high school have been doing to kids for a long time prior to NIL, when they have that star. And I can understand, I can see this is going to end up going to Texas. It's going to end up going to California, because Ohio is one of them big football states too.
Yeah. Georgia's already tried it, but it didn't work.
And all they need is one person, like really what it is Georgia tried it, and they probably didn't know the ins and outs of how to attack it. And then and it takes those trials, and then you figure out how to attack it, and then somebody eventually wins, and the floodgates break open. But getting back to the point, what do you think about this this new development as high school players are attempting to get paid off of their name, likeness, and image?
I don't like it, and in this case, it's his mother who's bringing the lawsuit. So which I think is even worse because, yeah, his mother's bringing the lawsuit. Me personally, I don't like it. Some people say it's free enterprise or whatnot, but how many high schools are really generating that kind of money? We know in certain states you got some huge high schools with big boosters, but how much money do you really think the high school is really generating? I mean, I don't think that is a good precedent if it happens at all, because everyone is not going to be able to do it, and you're going to have the same thing going on that you have in college right now. Yeah, and once you let the toothpaste out of the tube, you can't get it back in. You have got kids who will start legally finding ways to jump ship and go into other regions because they want to get paid. And how much NIL money do you really think is out there? Because the lawsuit says she's trying to get $100,000
in high school.
Yes. Now,
I think that's feasible.
I don't think that it's good, because it sets a precedent. Because okay, this kid, well, he's gonna come. I want him to come to my high school. I want him to come to Southwest DeKalb instead of being at Columbia, because they're gonna pay him more. He can probably get more there. But how much revenue are those school programs and does the football program really generate? Remember, most of these high schools, especially the successful ones, it's booster money from the parents. And it's just because they want the school to do well. Like out here in Vegas, there's Bishop Gorman. It's $18,000 to $20,000 a year to go to the school.
Anyway,
and all of those parents, most of them are business owners, elected officials. I mean, they're very prominent people who have deep pockets. Now you got somebody else at a regular school, because Bishop Gorman is a private school. You got somebody at a public school. How many public schools do you really think are going to be able to pay that kind of money just to keep kids? And also, you're going to have them venturing into, because they got to sign a contract. There's going to be things that they have to do in order to get this money, not even to mention the taxes involved. And if the parents are the ones running everything, there's a good chance they're going to screw it up, especially if they aren't already doing well financially. And I don't think that you need to lock a kid in to a contract. Hey, you got to do this. You're going to have to show up and do this. You're going to have to do that. Not just during football season. Hey, we want you to play well, but I need you to show up at my car dealership two weekends out of the month and kiss some babies. Or I need you to come down to my clothing store and be out there signing the autographs for little kids running around. And then that's just high school.
Isn't there like a cap on.
There's no cap in NCAA.
No. What I mean is, they're going name, image, and likeness. It's name, image, and likeness. Is that acronym branded by the NCAA?
I think that's just. I don't think it is. I think that's just the name of it because that's what it is.
Because that's what it is. Okay, that's one.
It's just
that's
acronym.
One.
Yeah.
That's one. So I think there is some level of a cap on children under the age of 18 working anyway. Like you got to work. You can only work so many hours when you're in high school. So I don't think anyone would find themselves from that state government, local government, or federal government. I don't know who actually has that rule, but I'm thinking that you couldn't work that child if they were under NIL. You couldn't work that child and have them doing so much, because when you get to a certain amount of hours, you're gonna have to cap that anyway, just from a work permit. And that's McDonald's or
but you're gonna have that kid doing it, committed to that, and there might be things. You know how kids are, man. They have prom this weekend. I don't feel like being bothered with that, or it's homecoming, or it's out of football season. I want to go do such and such. Well, no, you committed to go and do this. You signed this kid under labor laws, and he's got a contract he has to live up to. And my thing is, not only that, what if who's to say it doesn't trickle down into middle school programs? Because they do that, yeah. And then it trickle down into Pop Warner. I mean, because that's how we've seen parents who their kids are in Pop Warner and they're going ballistic. And also, this kid has to actually produce. What if that kid winds up not being as good as they thought he was and doesn't do anything? Hey, well, we're not giving you this money, or you're supposed to give me the. It's just a bad precedent. It's just
I got a question. I got a question because I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this a little bit, right? I'm looking at this a little bit differently. And I'm not playing devil's advocate here, but I'm just kind of looking at it from something that's already happening. There are places in context of what you're saying, and where I agree. And then there are things I am looking at the argument that you're having, and I think you have to don't get me right, there needs to be some bylaws and guidelines to it, because it's going to happen. But I think you're using extremes to validate the point. And what I mean by that is, and I want to stay in high school. That child that's that star, that kid wants to do this, that kid wants to do that. If that child is already a star, that child's mentality has been committed to sports a long time ago. Like they're already like if it's basketball, football, I don't think football in this sense of what I'm saying, but let's just say baseball. Baseball and basketball, you've already been committed in year-round AAU and travel ball. So your mentality on going out and doing normal things that kids do been lost. So I don't think the kid that's going to get NIL, that type of star, I think their mentality is already like away from doing what normal high school kids do, NIL or not, because they've already had that taken away from them because they're focused on going to college. And I'm going to use young man in Miami who's already playing football, and he should be a senior in high school. So
those are the exceptions, because you got
his mentality already like his mentality is already fast-paced moving forward. So I don't think the normal high school kid is going that's a star is going to be worrying about normal high school kid stuff, because they don't get that anyway. It's just something that they don't do.
But and then let's say you got one kid that's that way, and everybody else is a normal kid. Hey, maybe I'm good. I might make all district, but I'm a 1-star recruit. I'm not getting a scholarship. I'm not even trying for one. I'm just going to enjoy playing. But because I am possibly going to be all district, where's my money? Well, you know how kids. I just don't think it's a good. I don't think it's a good fit. I don't think it's a good look. I mean, free enterprise, I get that, but at the same time, I just don't like the fact that you're really throwing money into what's really the last bastion of you being able to play innocent ball. You can
ask for where's my money. You can ask for where's my money all day long. If you're not a star, you're not a star. Like it's only certain kids on the football team that get their cleats taped up.
But let's say it's one kid.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You know the difference between you and you. So I don't think a kid or a parent knows that their child is not that raw to be trying to make an argument about something that their child is not. So I think I don't know about that hyperbole just yet. I
think there's a lot of fathers out there who think that their kid is the next one, and their kid is not. He's not the next one. Their kid's not even nothing. But why isn't Johnny in there?
It's still left up to the private company. Yeah, and they can look at the numbers and they can look at the popularity of that kid and say, you can ask for anything you want. We don't see where your image and likeness, benefits us. But going back, like you're going to find
where's the kids' name, image, and likeness in a high school actually going to? It's just a way to pay them, because I haven't really. I mean, at least in college, you can see, or if you see that jersey number, like if I say number 28 for Florida State, you automatically going to say that's Warrick Dunn, and somebody else might have worn it or might not have, but nobody's thinking.
Contextually, if you live in that county and you live in that city, and you've been following that kid and you know he's that dude, if you said number 24 in 1990 and 91, I know you was talking about Russell. I'm pretty sure if you said number 7 at Michael Vick High School or number 3 at Allen Iverson High School, they knew you was talking about Allen Iverson. So I'm saying like you're saying that from a national standpoint, but locally,
no, I'm talking about just locally.
Was Cam Newton wearing number 2 in high school?
I think he wore 1. I think he wore number 1.
You don't think they knew in high school at Westlake when you said number 1? So I'm saying like here's what I'm saying. Like these kids, name, image, and likeness. These kids in high school since the beginning of time. You can say any name. I believe everybody knew. You've heard the stories. Oh, I heard about this kid in high school. I'm about to go down to the gym and see if it's really real. These are urban legends in high school. Urban legends. And they are packing gyms. This is not anything new. They're packing gyms. And these boosters and these people know that these kids have been packing these gyms. And I don't know the cost of a hot dog in foil right now, but it's probably about $6. And if my gym seats about 400 people, and all 400 people buy, and it's just basketball, all 400 of those people buy a hot dog, that's $2,400. That's $2,400. How many games do they play in high school? 20 something? I don't know how many home games. So they've been generating revenue off these kids' play image since the beginning of time. So I'm not. I understand the trickle you're saying and where you don't want it to go, because what it is you're going to find the Bishop Gormans and in my area, the Lakelands, those schools that have already been recruiting the kids from what area to what area. They're already powerhouses anyway. So they may tilt the scales. You may find all of the talent but see, there's this district thing too, so they're going to have to police that too. But you know how they get around that all the time. Exactly. So you know, I know of people whose mothers didn't have a lot, and they were bought houses, you know, on certain county lines for that child to go to that school in order for that child to be a star at that school. So it's always been happening. And I believe this mother in Ohio, going back to the premise or the origins of the conversation, I believe this mother in Ohio, and if this kid is good, I'm almost certain he is the DNA of somebody who was good, a cousin, an uncle, a father, or something, and they know they got robbed, and that's really where this idea is coming from. It's coming from somebody in a generation prior to them said, "Man, we should have made all this money. We got my man over here. He need to be getting it." So, um, Malachi Tony. So it's like I don't necessarily. I get what you're saying as far as the trickle down is concerned, because there are going to be public schools that may lose out. But guess what? Those public schools been losing out. Those public schools been losing out.
Well, yeah, you got a lot of public schools that weren't, and this is a way back, but there was a time when Douglas High School in Atlanta was putting them out, and Westlake has had 3-4 first round draft picks come out of their high school. And that's a public school.
Pac-Man,
Yeah.
Cam, and who else?
Cam, Pac-Man, Cam, and there's another one. Oh, AJ Terrell.
Come on now.
Yeah.
How that went over your head?
All 3 first round draft picks.
Shout out to AJ Terrell. You know that's Tank Boy. I guess it was too hot.
Yeah, and then and back in the day you had Batman, Ahmad Carroll, and Jamal Lewis from Douglas High School in Atlanta, first round draft picks. We've had public schools that put out. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Was the gym packed when they were in high school playing?
Yeah, Lakeside Stadium was packed, but it was always packed because that's just the nature of high school football in Georgia. Nobody was saying, "Oh, so and so's playing," but because you knew who that person was because the school was ranked nationally in the USA Today top 10
because of that person.
And you're going, yeah, but you were saying public schools been missing out. There's been a whole lot more public schools that have put out quality products throughout forever than it has been just private. Just like back in the day, Elmo Spencer, who was at Washington High School, wound up at UNLV. 7-footer people. I remember going to see him in the gym. The gym wasn't packed, but there were people there. I went to high school with Gary Waits, who went on to Alabama and played before he messed his knee up. Bobby Crimmins was there to see him. You had public schools who put out a lot of talent, but it wasn't one of those things where if they didn't have this particular player, nobody was going to be there because students and their parents just go to the games, period.
I mean, you're going to go to the game, see your child, and there's still always that child that bring the city out. Now, what about a legislative process? Meaning, kind of like they do with the Electoral College. Your county, your state, or whatever is only so big, so you only get so many votes. So in a sense, if, say, your county is X such and such, you can only get so many kids under NIL, and everybody else, it is what it is. So you're gonna have to choose your top 3, or you can only get 3 sponsors, and those 3 sponsors, have to divvy up those funds amongst who they think should get that NIL. So what I'm saying is, once you exhaust those funds, say you can get 7 sponsors in the public school over here. You got 3 alumni that's doing it big, and they're not private, but they have 3 alumni. You can only get you exhaust those 7 funds on those kids you get them, but you can't go buy up the whole thing because you're only at 7. So those 3 may have a better chance at recruiting others because they're still gonna be recruiting, and it's still gonna be people. There's still going to be people who want to be a legacy. There's still going to be people that want to follow their father or whatever family when they're going to go to that high school anyway. And the most important part about all of this is the teachers themselves have to continue to educate the kids to a degree. It's two things. The teachers themselves don't have to continue to educate the kids to a degree to where that parent may say, yeah, I see some good football over here, but my child is only getting a 2.7. You know, I bought my child cleats and encyclopedias. And the most important thing, what school got the baddest girls? So all this stuff, still comes to play in high school. I like what she's doing. I see where you're going with the trickle. I'm just saying they've been beating these kids anyway.
Yeah, I just don't think that it's a good idea because and like I said, we're sticking with the high school, but there is a trickle down. There will be because everybody wants to push the envelope and to do the. There was a kid that I saw you see on IG. His father was always posting him doing all this stuff, and they were showing this video. He was probably 10. The boy, he was bigger than the other kids, and he was faster than them, but not because he was stellar. He's probably 5'8". He's like 10. He's like 5'8", playing with other kids who were regular size. So he looked like he was dominant. He looked like they called him Baby Gronk. But more than likely, this kid is going to probably be 5'8" when he's a senior and probably won't get past the 8th or 9th grade playing ball. He looked better than everybody else just because he had his growth spurt a whole lot. But his dad was doing all this, basically trying to promote him. Like, hey, so I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be interesting to keep watching to see what happens.
And we're gonna conclude this. I'm gonna just tell you this right quick though, because this is happening too. The one thing that I'm skeptical about with this is, you got the man with the car wash, you got the man with the furniture store. I'm just talking about, local businesses. You got the man that owned the car wash. You got the man that owned, not the car wash. You got the man that owned the car lot. His son used the quarterback anyway. Political and financial. And you got the man that owns the furniture store. You might have the man that has, you might have the mayor guy. All of these front top guys in local community businesses that do their thing. Then there's that tertiary process. You got the man that owned the local Barbecue King, sandwich shop, mom and pop car wash, and we know what he do. So they're going to get the guys that they can afford, and the guys that they can afford are probably more than likely going to be the guys who can't get the big high school NIL deal. The thing about that though that scares me, what I ain't gonna say scared, but I'm skeptical about is those are the types of people that pay you money and think they own you anyway. I don't want a high school kid to go through that because that part right there is happening now and it's not monitored. So if we let you do it legally through your wash money, that's definitely going to be a situation. And I fear that the manipulation of a game with a high school kid, you can taint. It's all. I'm not saying it's not happening, but you can taint that too. So exactly. So you got to find a way to police all of it. I guess my point is still these boosters and these high schools, they've been making money off these kids anyway. I'm almost certain, like I said, that for a hot dog, a Coke, and some popcorn probably running you about $15 a game. And if you got that dude who packing that stadium, and when I say packing that stadium, I'm talking about you fill the bleachers up and you fill the whole fence up around that track. When you pack that gym, you have standing room only on that padding on one side, standing room only on the other side, and people are lapped up. They making money off that stuff. So they've been getting money off these kids anyway, and I think the kids, parentally or whatever the word is, They might. I don't want to disagree with them getting something. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to disagree with them getting something.
100,000. Hell no.
See, 100,000, and then of course you're gonna get the kid that say, "Well, such as got 100,000," but the economy gonna be the economy. It's gonna be a kid. If this starts, it's gonna be a kid in high school some years from now getting $1 million. It's just what it is. Shout out to Light Snack, because I've been telling y'all I got something for y'all. Nevertheless, let's move. Let's move to the next one. Oh shoot. Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football. Buffalo Bills, Atlanta Falcons. We saw. I'm not gonna get into him yet, but we did see the Falcons because what I try not to do is I try not to have an individual, even though individual feats are great. I try not to have. There's no I in team, so I'm gonna talk about the team first. Talk about the team first.
Yeah. You know what I always say? What I've always said when they would say, coach would say, "There's no I in team." There's no I in team. I got in trouble for it once, but I said, he said, "There's no I in team," and I said, "Yeah, but there is one in win." And
that I help you win.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, man. And this young man looked like he could get in that I formation and do some things. But looking at the NFC South and its makeup, I don't think this. You know what? Here's the conversation. On October 25th, this is not a hit refresh moment, but on October 25th, there's going to be a versus between No Limit and Cash Money. It's going to be the Battle of New Orleans. And I said all that in Vegas. And I said all that to say that's all we're going to talk about New Orleans about right now. That's the only thing they're going to get in this conversation right now, because this NFC South conversation, I tried to help y'all. I did. This NFC South conversation is about the Bucs, the Panthers, and now the Atlanta Falcons. Do you think, Tank, the Atlanta Falcons have made themselves a formidable front runner to, let's be realistic, win the NFC South? Let's not go too far.
I think they are, but my only reason I would possibly pull back, but at the same time it should be the reason I push them forward, is because the Bucs have been doing this without their top receivers. I mean, it's like, hey, we got a 6-shooter. We got a 6-shooter, but we only using 2 bullets, and they've been doing it. So I look at that as why they might not be, but at the same time, hey, I can't hold that against Atlanta for Atlanta taking advantage of what's been presented to them. I think Atlanta and Tampa are going to be, if everything goes the way, if nobody really crucial gets hurt for the Falcons, they do have a real shot at battling it out. I think it's going to come down between those two, but I still need to see more from Michael Penix. His body of work is not, he doesn't have a large body of work, and it's not been overly impressive. I mean, he's done a good job, but it's not jumped out at you like, okay, Penix is the reason they're winning. Penix is what's going to make their offense go, because we all know what's making their offense go. Woo. And it's going. He is going. But I think they got a good squad. I was talking to my dad yesterday about this, and because he's a Falcons fan, and he said, yeah, Falcons. He said, I tell you who's good and who's coming. And I was like, who? He said the Falcons. Then he said, for real this time. He said for real this time, because he's still stung over the 28-3. but
You
he
know,
thinks they're legit now.
you know who's a little bit more delusional than a Cowboys fan?
A Falcons fan.
Oh my God, they
Yeah.
so delusional. But
Yeah.
when they're doing what they need to do, I give them props. But
Yeah.
I want to go back to a point. And I got to get them boys. I got to get them boys some props because we were just talking about this today. Receiving corps. It's the best in the league.
Who now?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers receiving
Yeah.
corps. It's the best in the league.
Yeah. They've shown the depth. They've shown depth.
Those young men ball. They ball. And I didn't want to get on Mr. Bijan Robinson too early without giving them boys their prop. That's a special group right there. That's a special group.
And Michael Evans, he's supposed to be back next week.
Mike Evans supposed to be back next week. We might get into a topic of CD. I mean, not CD, but receivers coming back. Because CD is due back this week with the I have to see first. I'm not gonna get in that. We're talking about the NFC South now. Bijan. I hate to be one of those guys that's living in the microwave and be living in the moment. Oh, he's the best in the league right now. And I think we have to give when it comes to running backs, that is the one position that we have to give their props when they are in the right now, because
and this is his third year. It's not like he's doing this out of the blue. He did this last year, and as a rookie, he was
So and it's coming to fruition, and I think he's probably getting a little bit more. And this does help. There's nothing like a prolific running back that helps bring your young quarterback along, or
that's his best friend.
Old aging quarterback. That's their best friend. Yeah. So please keep in mind that I do believe Penix himself can start to mature a little faster, knowing that, and he's a lot more than a safety net. But I'm chilling. I am really having a Peyton Manning and Marshall Faulk before they traded Marshall Faulk moment. If I take advantage of it.
Yeah, and we saw what happened for Dak when it was him and Elliott their rookie year. And you saw what it did for Dak, because Zeke was back there ripping off yards.
1,663 or 36. I don't know which one it is, but it was like 1,636 rushing yards Zeke's rookie year. And he practically got robbed.
Of the rookie of
the year.
Yeah.
And that got it because he wasn't losing as much as Romo. But that's not that conversation. The point is, a young stud running back that's ripping it up, tearing it up, he will help a quarterback along. I mean, let's not act like Marshall Faulk didn't help Kurt Warner transition.
I just think that you got to get. That's why I said last year, and I said it earlier. I think we've seen, and we're seeing the resurgence of the running back, and you've got to have a bell cow. I'm sorry, I don't like that back by committee mess. I want to see a bell cow, and Robinson is a bell cow, and he delivers. If you remember what was his rookie year, people were getting mad because he was picking up yards. Then they would stop giving him the ball for whatever reason. You got to feed that man.
Ooh, that Algier and that oh my goodness, that was getting on my nerves.
Yeah, you got to feed that man, and I mean, he was doing it in college. He was coming off an injury in college when they drafted him. Bijan was, if I'm not mistaken. But he is There, you look at him when he gets and hits the hole, his quick feet, the moves that he makes in and out of the hole. He's not taking punishment. He's able to outrun people. He's able to juke people, and if he has to, he can run you over. They have got at the end of this year, they might as well go ahead and sign him up for another 4 years. To go ahead and extend him now, because if you wait and he gets better even next year, and you wait, you're gonna have to pay him a whole lot more. He might be the first back to get what used to be franchise back money in of this new wave.
If Atlanta waits, and I say this, not Falcons, I'm not saying the Falcons. It's more than the Falcons. If Atlanta waits to pay him, this is going to be prime. Who else left? Danny Manning? Did he come over here late?
Manning left late. What's his name? Andre Rison.
Y'all gonna lose. You're gonna lose people who should be cornerstones in Atlanta sports, because they're gonna take him if they wait.
Yeah,
he's going to be. His eyes are going to open to other markets. That's what's going to happen to him. It's just what it is. You know, he gonna end up out there in Las Vegas with the Raiders or something if they don't lock him in. Now, I will say I'm going to wait, but right now he is. He's placed himself in the MVP conversation. I'm not going to say that as of week 6, but he's a running back, 5'11", 216. He's not small. He compact.
He's solid.
He's solid. So we kind of got to see his durability for the remainder of the season, because it looks as if he's about to get the bulk of the yards. Because you did mention one word, and you mentioned the word bell cow, and I saw a bell cow tear us up. But I just think I think, well, you know what? I'm not gonna say he wanted to be a bell cow just against us, but I'm pretty sure he did. But Dowdle has definitely showed up last 2 weeks, and he told them boys what he was gonna do.
Yeah, and did it
like a backyard bully, and told him to bring your brother too, and did it. Nevertheless, Bijan Robinson, Daniel Jones, Drake May, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Dak Prescott. I'm gonna put him in there. Who's your MVP? And hold on. The only reason I am is because he gets this week's excuse because he can't do nothing because of defense. I'm gonna let him have his. Yeah. He had a game. I'm gonna let him have that. So who's number one though? To you right now?
Baker, followed closely by Sam Darnold, and the reason I give Baker the edge is because Baker doesn't have all. He missing pieces. He's missing pieces. He lost Mike Evans. He lost Godwin. What's his name? Emuku. He's hurt now. And Baker has been getting it done. Regarding everything that people thought that he was and was going to be coming out of Oklahoma has come to fruition. And I think that he is right now, he's my MVP, followed closely by Sam Darnold.
I'm not going to do a countdown because it's too early, but I asked you because you're a countdown guy.
And that's at this point of the season. We don't know. Yeah. Next 2 weeks, they could both stink to join up, and we like, man, get them out of here.
That's the nature. That's the nature of football.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the NFL. Absolutely. I mentioned some names, man. Oh, before I go there, I'm going to go here. Before I go there, I'm going to go here. And again, before I go there, I'm going to go here. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Are watching No Jazz, Not Just Another Sports Show. And you can find us on YouTube at NOJASSSHOW. You also find us on Facebook at NOJASSSHOW, TikTok at NOJASSSHOW. Shout out to all my TikTok guys chatting in. We see you. We're on Riverside Chat. We're on X and Instagram, THENOJASSSHOW. Now, back to my point. Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is definitely showing me if Johnny Manziel would have just followed the script. Follow the script and bring it down, we're going to get you right. And I'm saying that because Shedeur, if you're out there, see, Tank calls Cleveland the city where quarterbacks go to die. Okay.
We got 40. We had 40 of them.
I'm now saying that Cleveland might be Pelican Bay. You're coming out of college, or you're coming out of college, and you start too high. You know, it's the NFL. We need you under the shield. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna send you over here in this market. Just play, do what we tell you to do, and your star is still gonna be big. And a lot of people, when that young man, what was his name, LeBron James was there, you know, they had a target on him, and Cleveland had the lights on them. But nevertheless, my point is, I think Cleveland is Pelican Bay. We sit you over here to humble you. If you win, you win. You're more than likely not going to win. But if you win, you win. But we're sending you over here to humble you, to teach you how to be. We're going to take your shine. You're still going to be a star. But we're going to take your shine and level you off a little bit. Like, for instance, coming out of Alabama, Joe Namath would have went to Cleveland if he didn't go to the AFL. You know, because his star was sometimes it's just too bright for the shield. So we got to slow you down a little bit. Trust me, I'm speaking to you, Shedeur. That's all they're doing. We just want to slow you down a little bit, humble you, because we don't want you and your brothers. This is not the NBA. We don't want you and your brothers getting together and becoming the Ball brothers. See, the NBA will let you do that. NFL don't like that. So all I'm saying is Johnny Manziel, and I'm not talking about Johnny. I'm just saying I'm looking at Baker Mayfield, and I'm saying to myself, he's looking like the dude we thought that was in Oklahoma. Swag, almost. I think he has Tampa thinking about bringing the honeysuckle orange back.
Yeah, they should. But the thing is, he's actually in a good situation with a good coach and good offensive coordinators and all of that. That doesn't exist in Cleveland.
But we know that. That's Pelican Bay.
And
you know
should
like it's not. That's not the point of like low key. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Cleveland do that to a coach too? 2 coaches.
I mean, the turnstile in Cleveland has been so much. It's hard to even keep up.
Let's not forget. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't Bill Belichick in Cleveland?
Yeah.
He
got one playoff berth, and then Cleveland packed up and moved to Baltimore, and they let him go. But let's see, Nick Saban was there. Schottenheimer was there for a while and was doing. And
he's still in Kansas City.
Yeah,
off under him too. So, like I said, Cleveland is Pelican Bay.
Yeah, I'm to be honest, I'm glad that Baker got out of Cleveland, and we're seeing what he's able to do now.
He cooking. The Baker is
Yeah,
cooking.
yeah, and
Now,
you saw him doing it when he was with the Rams for a few days.
yeah, you know, once you get under somebody, and look at where they send you. They send him to some sunshine. I'm just saying. Now, speaking of, I did mention Drake May. No. Daniel Jones, and I did mention Sam Darnold, and they fall in line with Baker.
Yeah,
These guys have had their first couple of years in the league. Didn't quite pan out the way they wanted to. They're now veterans, and they are now comfortable at their job. You know, so it kind of reminds me of that old movie with not Alex P. Keaton, but Michael J. Fox. I always get the three names mixed up. Fictional character. I think it was called The Secret of My Success. And Michael J. Fox's character was in the mail room, and I don't know if he had a relative up there, but he gave him a job, and then he did this and matriculated. He went up, and boy, he did his thing. And I'm telling you, boy, Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones have gotten out of the mail room. They hanging out in an office with a view right now, doing their thing.
Yeah, and somebody else you can put in that category also, to a lesser degree. But even though this year he's stinking it up, but he had a 2-year revival. That was Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
He had it.
Geno Smith. Yeah, absolutely. Geno Smith.
Mac Jones has looked like a professional since he's been in Frisco these past 3 games.
He had. And speaking of looking like a professional, I mean, we're talking about a career here. Look at the transition Jameis Winston has made, being a veteran quarterback, rooting Jackson Dart on, turning himself into this generation's and probably the next generation's playmaker, Michael Irvin, because his life after football is looking pretty good, and we're gonna forget. And I don't even want to mention it. I'm just saying we're gonna forget all those early years, and shout out to him.
Yeah, that's so far behind you. That's one of those things now. If someone actually brought it up and mentioned this, that, and other,
just doing it to be funny.
You're just being damn dirty.
You're being dirty, right. Shout out to him. So but back to the guys that are actually playing and all that stuff. And that's not to say Jameis can't play. I'm just saying these guys follow. I think a lot of times the people themselves, you get so caught up in wanting to protect your heroes and the players you love. You forget that the meat just don't taste as good unless it's seasoned, and sometimes these guys just need to be seasoned.
Yeah, and what these coaches and these owners and these GMs need to realize is that every quarterback is not going to have instant success. But what the problem is, they look and they drafted their quarterback in the top 5, and somebody else drafted their quarterback number 10, and that number 10 is having success right away, and they want to know why their quarterback isn't. Sometimes your team, they went to a better team. Other times the coaching staff is horrible. Other times the guy just has to get it. The light has to come on, and you got to let them grow. Because there used to be a time when the quarterback was drafted and he sat, or you let him stink up the joint and show you flashes for the first 3 years, and in year 4 he really had it, and you're like, okay, he's got it. Bradshaw took him 5 years before you could. He had so much talent, it had to come out, but it took him that long before you got the fruits of your labor. It took Aikman a minute before you saw the fruits of your labor.
One of our twins.
Elway.
One of our twins from last week, Jim Plunkett.
Yeah, took him time. It takes time. So everybody's not going to be an instant
Everybody's
success,
not going to be an instant success.
and you
I mean,
have to be
if you
patient.
really want to know the truth, I think he had a 16-year career. You know, Vinny Testaverde was trash at Tampa Bay and became like a, you know, like
a decent quarterback.
Keyshawn Johnson's like that's one of the names he brings up a lot.
Yeah,
he brings up Vinny, man, strong arm. You know, he gives Vinny his props. So the theory, it just is what it is. Some people come out there shoot fast, ready to rock and roll. Some of them, it take time. But like I said, I think Johnny Manziel, if he would have just, I'm watching it, man.
Yeah, and Johnny, you know, we all know now, you know, he had a drug problem also, so that didn't help. But I think that if you
getting his mind off the pressure.
Yeah, but if you draft a guy and you really believe in him, you need to see it through. Then instead of jumping ship because it didn't pan out right away. Because I mean, think about it. You draft a kid and you give him this money and you say, okay, you're gonna lead us. Another thing, sports in particular it's a different nature. It's a different beast. But think about it. At 22, at 23, are you really ready to lead a Fortune 500 company? For the most part, most people, most top CEOs and CFOs, they don't get to those positions to their 40s or 50s. You're asking a 21, 22, a 23-year-old to lead what is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, lead them to glory. Yeah, lead them to glory within 2 years. Because by the third year, if you're not playing lights out, oh, we got to get rid of him. He couldn't do it. So now you're setting your franchise back, and the seasoning that he was getting, he goes somewhere else. If someone else sees, okay, we see what you did right, what you can do right and do well, but they had you doing some other stuff, a lot of stuff that's not your skill set. So these other coaches for these quarterbacks who we're talking about, they're saying, okay, we're going to take what you do well and we're going to expand on that. And the stuff that you don't do well at, we're going to throw that out, or we're going to just do that a little and see if we can cultivate it. But what you do well is what they're going to see, because that's what you see with Sam Darnold going from, where was it? I can't remember where he was before, but then when he got to Minnesota, when he got, and remember, he was the one saying, I was seeing ghosts. Remember, he said, oh, I was seeing ghosts out there, and everybody got on him, but he was basically telling you, look, man, I need help. I don't know what the hell's going on. And they banished him to Carolina, and you had both he and Baker Mayfield on the same team in Carolina. Yeah. And then he goes to Minnesota, and O'Connell has him do the same thing that basically does the same thing with him that Walsh did with Steve Young. And say, hey, I need you to unlearn everything they taught you where you were before, and soak up what I'm teaching you. Now you saw what he did with Minnesota, and in hindsight, Minnesota should have kept him. But now he's taking that and doing it, using it, plus the coaching that he's getting in Seattle, and he's playing lights out. And the irony is Seattle's OC and head coach came there because they thought they were going to be coaching Geno, and thought, okay, Geno's fine. Geno ups and bolts to the Raiders. And now you got to say, dang, we got to find somebody. Well, Darnold looked good last year. Let's sign him. Hopefully it'll work. Now they need to go ahead and sign Darnold to a long-term contract.
But they don't have the same thing happening to them again.
Yeah. And Baker, you've seen the evolution of Baker. Baker is entering his prime now. And we only saw flashes of Baker when he was in Cleveland, and he was in a dysfunctional organization. Now you see this past week, you saw all of this from Baker. Like, it was, oh, wait a minute. That's who I saw in Oklahoma. I saw all of this. It depends on where you go, who your coach is, and if your coach knows what the hell he's doing. I'm not going to ask you to run the RPOs when you run a 5-2. That's not fooling anybody. If I know that you're a drop back passer and you need protection, that's what I'm going to give you so you can excel at throwing the ball and picking people apart.
So what differentiates those guys you named from Josh Rosen?
Man, I think Josh just got a raw deal, man. Seriously, because he should have. I think they still. I don't think they should have gotten rid of him after 1 year as a starter in Arizona. But Kingsbury had a hard on for damn Murray since Murray was in high school, and he was like, I've been waiting for 4 years to get this little boy, and now I got my chance, and so I'm getting him, and I'm getting Rosen out of here. Then you send Rosen he's been all over the place. I'm not gonna say that Rosen can play because we ain't never seen enough for him to pass that judgment. But I think that there's a good possibility that if he was to get somewhere and they work with somewhere good and they work with him, he might develop. Because you saw Jameis was a whole lot different when he got into play. I can't, he get on my nerves, but when he was in New Orleans playing under Sean Payton, when Breeze went out, you saw a different Jameis, and you said, okay, this is the Jameis that can win some games.
Jameis can win some games. That Jameis back then, absolutely.
Yeah.
So why? So segueing, are we gonna see this from Justin Fields eventually, or is it time to?
Yeah, he's a bust. That boy, I just.
People in the chat. Did you all just notice that? I can't rewind it because we're live. But did you all notice how that tire just deflated?
I mean, just.
I said Josh Rosen's name, and you had more.
Because we only saw 1 year. We only saw one.
I set you up with a jab, and I thought you were gonna be ready, and the left hook the Justin Fields left hook still landed, and you got deflated.
I mean, it's one of those things with Justin. Everybody wants him to succeed, and anytime a quarterback succeeds, it's good for the NFL. But everybody, he's a great kid, and this, that, the other, but they won no games. He hasn't looked good, but maybe once with the Jets. And yes, it's the Jets. And the Jets coach is gonna probably be one and done like Mayo was with New England last year. Yeah. Because that team has gotten even worse. Nobody knows what the hell going on. And the Jets are another team where quarterbacks go to die. I mean, he's got physical talent. But there's something about him that's just, and it's one of those things you look at him, you say, man, he can run. He's got speed. He's got size. He's got a strong arm. But it's just, and my thing for a quarterback, mostly, besides your physical ability, the thing I look at most is your decision making. His decision making is horrible. That's the main thing. His decision making. He's not even. Some quarterbacks make bad decisions, and we say, okay, he's a gunslinger, and they do it, but they put up stats. They lead you to wins, but they're gonna give it. They're gonna throw you one. They're gonna throw one eventually. Brett Favre, prime example. But Justin, he's got arrested development.
Justin, I'm gonna do you a solid, dog, because you are at least playing. Cause my man Tank ain't showing you no love, man. But I'm gonna do you a solid. I'm gonna do you a solid. Cause I don't want this to go out on you like that. I'm gonna do you a solid. At least you're better than Trey Lance.
Yeah, Trey is another one who just.
I told you I had your back, Justin. I told you I had your back.
When you say if overdrafted was a person, it's Trey Lance.
Woo.
I don't even know where he is now.
I'm your boy. And No Jazz and the No Jazz show is probably the only sports show that brought his name up.
Yeah, yeah, but I just don't until Justin. Maybe he will be in this batch of quarterbacks. Like we said, he's on his third team now, so maybe if he gets another shot somewhere else, because they signed him to a 2-year, $30 million deal, so it's not like they paid him a lot of money. And yeah, that sounds funny. I don't have 30 million or close when I say it's not a lot of money, but for a starting quarterback for 2 years.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, for 2 years, a starting quarterback only 15 million a year. That's not a lot of money.
Cut out all that barbershop talk. I can talk about $30 million without you looking at me to the right. Talking about, I bet you ain't got 30 million. I want to hear all that from you, Jasper.
Yeah, so this might be his last chance, or there's a possibility he gets another shot because somebody's gonna say, "Look, he was with the Bears." Then somebody's gonna say, "Well, the Steelers didn't believe in him." And then they're gonna say, "Look, man, he went to the Jets and they had a rookie head coach who was a defensive guy. What could we do? What could you expect?" So I don't know where else he could go. I mean,
we talking about Justin and Trey.
Justin, Trey is living off of his signing bonus because I don't know if Trey gonna ever see the field again. I don't even think Trey gonna play in Canada.
Has Justin been to Miami yet?
Not yet, but if he went to Miami, that means Tua's gone, and I do think they might be ready to cut bait with Tua, but they gonna also have to get rid of the coach.
I mean, I think that whole thing going on in Miami might be, let's just unload. Like in a perfect world, if the team in Miami that plays on Saturdays, and everybody knows who that is, and no, not Florida Atlantic, don't try me. Team in Miami plays on Saturday, wins the ACC, and I'm gonna be realistic. I'm just gonna be realistic. Just make it to the playoffs and show up. I don't want to talk about that. But this is not about University of Miami. This is about revenue share and fan base in the city of Miami. I think if they do well with what the Miami Dolphins are doing, because let's get it straight. I don't want anybody to ever get it twisted. Shout out to my cousin Van, and shout out to my cousin. Well, he a Baltimore Raven fan, but everyone
through it.
Everyone in Florida understands, or everyone in South Florida, because Miami is its own nation. It's not even a city in the state of Florida. It's its own nation. But everyone in Miami understands that it's not the Canes, it's not the Heat, it's not the Marlins, it's not the Panthers, it's the Dolphins. When the Dolphins are winning, that's a Dolphin city. Period, point blank. So my point is this: in order to keep that fan base, if the Canes show up, do well, the front offices of Miami they're gonna start cutting bait. We're gonna get some new heroes in here. We're gonna Tyreek Hill. I don't know. Tua, I don't know. Coach, I don't know. Like we're about to we're gonna flip this thing over again because we can't lose ground, and that's just who they are.
And in Miami, the fact that you had Tua talking about guys not being responsible, guys showing up late for meetings, guys showing up late or not showing up at all for players only meetings, and saying it's a lack of leadership and all that. You basically just undressed everybody and said, look, leadership as far as me as the quarterback sucks, the leadership from other players on this team sucks, and the leadership from our coaching staff sucks. Because he threw everybody under the bus.
That was Tua fault.
Yeah, you shouldn't. That's one of those things you have behind closed door. But you know when your quarterback calls a team only meeting, players only meeting, and guys are late to that or they don't show up, there's a problem. That means they don't respect you and or they don't give a damn about what's going on.
I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you something. That's his fault because if Tua played the game with the quality of leadership and he played the game with the psychology it takes
Mhm.
to lead men, and he played cerebral, he would have called that players only meeting at Tootsie's, and everybody would have showed up. You should have said Tootsie's. You should have said the office, King of Diamonds, somewhere on the beach with some ladies. Like. Okay, we gonna talk about this game for about 30 minutes. I'm be
Then
mad
we're
at
gonna
y'all.
let then we're gonna let
I'm gonna let
loose.
y'all loose because in Miami, if you call a players only meeting and I got all that action going on in Miami, no, I'm not showing up. You got to be smarter than that. Come on,
I,
man. You got to
yeah.
play like Mike Lowry need to be a quarterback in Miami. I bet you he would have did it right. I bet
Hmm.
you would have did it right. Oh, Willie Beeman. Willie Beeman.
Yes, Steaming
Willie
Willie Beeman would have done it.
Steaming Willie Beeman
It-
would have known what to do. You called a players meeting that Twists. Stupid.
Yeah, but
That's his
you
fault.
can't. Yeah, he's not. He's going to be another quarterback who's going to be somewhere else and is going to need to be reprogrammed and rebuilt. And I believe he's going. I think he's going to be next in line for that. And I hate to say it, but I got a feeling he might wind up in Pittsburgh.
Tua?
I do. Tua. If they cut bait with him, just flat out release him, or work out some kind of trade where they don't have to, and Pittsburgh doesn't have to take on their whole salary. I could see him ending up in Pittsburgh next year, depending on how many years he has left on his deal. I think he signed him to a new deal, not last year. Was it the year before last, or was it last year? Because he kept getting his bail wrong. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but I could see them cutting bait, and it might be, or it could wind up being one of these things. Either Mike McDonald, you gone, or Tua is gone. One of those two, or it might need to be both of them. Because I don't think Mike McDonald has this. He doesn't have, those guys don't fear him. You got coaches who walk around, even if the team is losing, when they walk by, their butts pucker up. When no, they like this, they this tight. They shit a brick. But with Mike McDonald, they ain't studying him. Imagine Tua doing that, acting that way, even at this age, if Jimmy Johnson was there, since he was there at Miami. Imagine him doing that with Tomlin. Imagine him doing that with Belichick. Imagine him doing that kind of stuff with Sean Payton.
But the man does have a headache.
And you better get a lot of cane patch
I'm
and
gonna tell you.
get it going.
Let me tell you. Tua is about to be on that next wave. Um. Look at how well Marcus Mariota does behind Jaden Daniels. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Jameis Winston. Who was with Marcus in his Heisman era?
It was Jameis.
It was
Jameis and Marcus.
so
Yeah.
that little era, the next wave is Tua. Tua probably gonna end up somewhere like Tennessee, backing up Cam in his second year. Or in Atlanta, just making sure Michael
Yeah.
still comes along, but we got somebody with some experience jump right in and create that. Oh, he should be. No, we're not gonna do that.
You
Not
know
gonna
what
hit
would be
that
funny?
type of situation.
It would be funny if he was to end up backing up Hurts in Philly.
Hurts in Philly.
That would be funny.
Hurts in Philly. That would definitely be a coming home party. Definitely. That's viable too.
Yeah.
That's realistic too.
And it's also he could also end up with the Raiders because behind Geno is Kenny Pickett, and we all know you ain't getting nothing out of Kenny Pickett.
Kenny about to be in that next wave. So all of that can happen. All of that can happen. As we move into the hour and 20-minute mark of the show.
What show was that?
The No Jazz Show. NOJASS stands for not just another sports show. As it's so eloquently put. You want to move on into it? Twin, you got a twin?
Yeah, I got one. I was looking and I was seeing some things, and I'm trying to remember who it was now.
Take your time, man. I got a twin off the top of my head.
Yeah.
You might not like my twin because
go ahead.
I don't stick with the pattern. But to set it all up, the twins for No Jazz Show is this week's Impact Notable or Impact Name. And the criteria is a guy or a player that played well this week. And he showed he played well. So we note that that player played well, and we compare him to a player from the past. However, that player from the past that is his twin or has the same DNA as that player has to be a player that is not well known and is kind of forgotten about in the history of football, because we all in the NFL, I should say, we all remember the guys that are still around, but we tend to not give respect and show respect for the guys who are not around now.
Yeah, I got mine, but I'm gonna see if you got the same one. Go ahead.
All right, but you know what? He might have another twin. We can have the same one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Hold on, right quick. I want to see my situation right fast.
I think that we've got some good games coming up, and I think we got a lot of topsy-turvy things going on. Some teams are rising rising right now. They have been down for quite some time.
Parity.
So we got a lot of parity, and I think that both in the NFC and the AFC, there's going to be a team with 10 wins that's going to finish 8th. So they're going to just miss the playoffs, and they will be deserving. But because you got so many other teams, because you got some teams with 3 teams out of that division could make it, but because of other things going on in other divisions, that third team won't make it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. AFC, you can see that happening, especially with the 17, and we kind of killed our half of the 17 with that tie. I think Green Bay hurt its pace with that tie as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens now. My twin, my this week's Impact name. I gotta give him his props, man. I gotta give him his props. I'm going with Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
I'm going with Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna mention these names, right? I'm gonna mention these names. What I saw from him, and I just want to mention these names. These are not his twins. I'm gonna tell you his twin though.
Okay.
What I saw from him, man, was a lot of Eric Metcalf. I saw some Keith Byers. I can't use Marshall Faulk. I can't use Marshall Faulk. But I'm teeter-tottering on this name because I think this name is a forgotten name in the argument. That's why I think he's legitimate. I think his name is a forgotten name in the argument, and here's why. Because when I saw who he was playing and I looked across the field, I said, boy, that Bijan Robinson looking thermal right now.
Yeah. That's how I was looking at.
And with 19 rushes for 170 yards and 6 catches for 68, that was very Thurman Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bills that they played could not allow me not to think of him when I was watching that young man play. So my this week's impact name or notable is Bijan Robinson, and his twin is Thurman Thomas. And I'm telling you, if you don't know who that is,
get off of this live.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Barry Sanders didn't start till he left. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
And he was also the man who was known as the best back. He was also the man who was known as the best back in the league for a minute, and then until later on when Emmett and Barry started making a move.
Started kind of making noise. Right. Trust me, it's a bad.
Ooh, man, think about it. Now you got Barry, you got Emmett, and you got Thurman all prime and ended their prime, close to their prime years at the same time in the league. That's a hard trio to beat. As far as in the league at the same time, you think about it, and then you have some other guys too.
Yeah. Like trust and believe. There was some arguments in some barbershops where, because see, we're talking hindsight, live. We're talking live. And you know what? And I truly believe this is when all the hyperbolized arguments started about Emmett and Barry, because it kind of is. It's kind of like the lost argument of Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe. Thurman get lost in the argument because let's be very clear. Back in about 1993, if someone said, okay, if social media was out and someone said, okay, here's your draft, you need a running back. I got Thurman, I got Barry, I got Emmett. Who you taking? That was a hard decision.
Yeah.
That was a hard decision to make because all three of them gave you something. And to be totally honest with you, I'm just going to keep it real. From a speed standpoint, the pass catching ability that Thurman gave me out of the backfield might have made me say, and this ain't saying Emmett wasn't doing his thing. This ain't saying Barry wasn't prolific. It might have made me look at my offense and say, I might have to get him, because Thurman Thomas was the reason a lot of people looked at Marshall Faulk and said, I got to get him. You know, they looked at Ed and said, I got to get him, because it's that dual thing. And let's not forget one thing and make one thing clear. 4 Super Bowls straight. 4 Super Bowls appearances straight. If he would have won one, he would have been an MVP.
Yeah.
Don't play with Thurman, boy. A lot of people at Oklahoma State are true to their word when they say he's the best one come out of Oklahoma State. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So my twin and their DNA and their pedigree it both stems from the fact that they were both undrafted. They're running back. They're both undrafted. Basically, when you're undrafted, it really means you're unwanted. Nobody thought you were good enough. You weren't worth picking. That's what that means. And there's another back that he reminded me of a little bit because of his journey. But my first one, Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle has been balling, not just last week, but this past week as well. And he was undrafted. We saw last year in Dallas, he had like 1,024 yards or whatnot. You know, he peaked, you know, and we all know, and we say it, well, they play 17 games now. 1,000 yards not the same as it used to be. No, it's not, but we 1,000 yards is still looked at as a barrier.
We ain't talking about Eric Gret 1,000 yards.
Yeah, right. But, you know, we still say we want 1,000 yards. So he put that up last year, and Dallas didn't want to keep him. Now you see him in Carolina, of all places, running with the Knight the past 2 weeks. He's got 400 and some yards over the past 2 weeks. Put that in perspective. This man has run up and down the football field 4 times in 2 games.
In 2 games. Cadillac Williams numbers.
And he's done it, and he's been getting in the end zone. So somebody who I was gonna use, but I said no, I'm gonna stick with the undrafted. But honorable mention to a possible twin of his, Eric Pegram, who was a late round draft pick out of UCLA, who was pedestrian for the most part, but he did have a 1,000-yard season with the Falcons, and the Falcons didn't want him after that. He ended up in Pittsburgh.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. And Dowdle doesn't have the prototypical build for who you want as a feature back. Pegram didn't have a prototypical build, and now who I'm going after as his twin, who didn't have a prototypical build and switched from fullback to running back in his career. It was only 4 years, but again, generally, for the most part, when we talk about the twins, we aren't talking about stars. So some of y'all are gonna say, "Who the hell is that?" And that's the point. Go look him up. And Dowdle could look up and say, "Hey, maybe that's a little inspiration or whatnot."
Right.
But John Settle, who played with the Atlanta Falcons for 3 years, he was undrafted. 5'9", about 200 pounds. Didn't tote the rock much his first 2 years, but in 1988, he put up 1,500 yards of total offense. He had over 1,000 yards rushing, about 400 some yards receiving. He had a couple of touchdowns, and he was the first. If I'm not saying, he's the first undrafted free agent, first undrafted player since 1970, I believe, to rush for 1,000 yards. He put up the 1,000 yards, and he was a halfback then. And the next 2 years, they moved him to fullback. He had a short career, like I said, but the DNA that I see is both of them not the prototypical build. They were both unwanted. They both wound up starting because we ain't got nobody else. Just we give them a shot and exploded. Settle wound up in the Pro Bowl, and I believe Dowdle made the Pro Bowl last year also. I believe. Yeah. So when they both finally got that shot, they put themselves in the Pro Bowl. So my twins sharing that same type of undrafted, not what you want in a running back DNA. John Settle, primarily of the Atlanta Falcons, and Rico Dowdle of the Carolina Panthers.
Shout out to John Settle. You've been digging for that one because I thought it was a dig when you said Eric Pegram. Shout out. So our twins for this week are Bijan Robinson and Thurman Thomas, and Rico Dowdle and John Settle. Shout out to our twins for this week. This week, impact name. Let me tell you where we're going right now. The federal government still locked down?
Shut down. Yeah, the federal government shut down, and if you know who would get his way, the whole country gonna be locked down. So you had it right when you said locked down.
I feel you. Because I only said that because but that TSA gonna be serious. And yeah. I gotta get up a little earlier.
Yeah, you might need to be there 3 to 4 hours early.
You know what I'm saying? So so what I'm gonna do is I am going to jump right into the last word for the night. And I gotta ask Tank if he has one.
Quote Deion Sanders,
Okay, you got one.
Coach Prime from last year, and what he's been saying. We coming. Cincinnati tomorrow night. The Pittsburgh
Okay.
Steelers. We coming. Baltimore. We coming. NFL. We coming. We finally have a semblance of a running game that's got to get better. Aaron Rodgers is playing exactly the way we need him to play. He's in the top 3 in passing touchdowns in the league. He's not making mistakes. He's providing veteran leadership. He's spreading the ball around. But what I'm really excited about is our defense. Our defense is healthy. Last week, you saw us put Gabriel on his behind 6 times. We should have had 4 or 5 picks, but like they always say, the reason you're on defense is because you can't catch. we had 4 or 5 picks. And what I'm excited about, and the last words, like I said, our defense is healthy. This was the first time that Joey Porter Jr., Nick Herbert, Highsmith, Deshaun Elliott, all of them were on the field at the same time because they've all been injured. And you saw the difference that all of those guys made on the field. You saw there was no such thing as running the ball. They weren't able to complete many passes. They forced the rookie to have to throw 52 times because the running game, they reduced it to rubbish. And they kept coming. And that was the most physical game that I've seen our defense play probably in a few years. They were hitting. They were hitting. They were bringing the smoke. And I loved it. I loved that they were playing the type of football, the type of defense as far as the impact, hitting and laying people out, the way the Steelers did in 2008 when the NFL started saying, hey, we're going to change the rules. Y'all hurt people. I like what we did. And I'm looking forward to us continuing that. If we can stay healthy on defense and the offense can keep improving and getting a little better each week, hey, we can make some noise and we can make the playoffs and we can actually win a playoff game for the first time since 2016. Of course, we want to go all the way, but we just need to win 1 or 2 playoff games because it's been a long time coming. And this is early in the season. We got a good ways to go. But hey, after tomorrow, we have a 3-game lead on everybody in the division. We control our own destiny, literally. We control our own destiny because everybody else can go on a winning streak, but as long as we keep winning, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. So and that was the perfect last word to kind of segue into my last word. But because I want you to keep your ear to the microphone because you might have something to say off my last word after I say my last words. Because I just got some questions. I got one question. And see, my last words will be in the form of an interrogative. Right? It'll be in the form of an interrogative. For those of y'all who don't know, that's a question. And I want to dedicate my last interrogative question to we lost a great one this week. From my era, 1990s, Miss D'Angelo. Passed away, a long time fight with pancreatic cancer. And we're gonna miss you, D'Angelo. You were what a lot of people would say, and a lot of people will argue, but you were what a lot of people would say, one of those definitely Mount Rushmore cornerstone faces of neo soul. So I just wanted to give you your props, and I'm dedicating these last words to probably one of your most successful tracks. And that song is How Does It Feel? And that is my question. Because my question is this. Before Tank started talking about his team, I looked his team up. And he's saying that his defense is now feeling better. They're not hurt. Doing good. Look like they're on the rise. But did you know? Excuse me. He talked about Aaron Rodgers playing like a leader. Doing what you want him to do, what he's very capable of doing, bringing them along, right? He didn't mention that they have played two teams that are actually at the top of the division currently. They played one division game, and they're about to play a division game tomorrow. And we're going to give them that game, and then they played the Jets. The Jets coincidentally also played the Dallas Cowboys, my team. But let me get back to my last word, because my last word again is a question. How does it feel? And I'm just trying to understand, there's this argument going around that it's not Dak's fault because, Dak don't play offense. I mean, Dak don't play defense. He can't stop nobody. He can't tackle anybody. But did you know that prior to 12 hours ago, I looked it up, and Tank wasn't lying about his team. His defense was hurt, and they had the 28th ranked defense in the league. 28 is 4 notches down from 32, which is where we sit. But in those, in where they sit, as of now the Steelers are 25 and we're still 32. But when I looked it up, the Steelers had given up only 30 more yards, 30 less yards than the Cowboys. So that was the differentiation between team defense ranked 28, team defense ranked 32. Now the kicker that really startled me, the thing that really startled me was our offense is number 1 when I looked this up. And the Steelers offense was 30th. So I was like, whoa, let me see how many notches the number 1 offense is away from the number 30 offense, right? Because I'm going to get to the point that's confusing me. The number 1 offense is 143 yards. The Dallas Cowboys had a team offense that was 143 yards more than the Steelers' total offense. Then I said, okay, here's my question. How in the hell are the Steelers 4-1 and the Cowboys are 2-3-1? Steelers had a bye week already. Let's not forget that. But they're 4-1, and they beat 2 teams that are top of the division. So I said, okay, the only thing I can do is I got to go to. I have to go to common games. I saw that the Steelers played a tight one against the New York Jets, winning 34-32. I saw we played a dominating game against the Jets, winning 37. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. Or was it 37-34 for the Steelers? Yeah, I think it was 37-34 for the Steelers and the Jets. And it was 34. No. It was 37-22. It was 37-22 and 34-32. I got it right. It was 37. We gave the Jets 22 points, right? Mm-hmm. So in my mind, I'm like, well, hold on. Common opponent. The last ranked defense gave up less points than a defense that's 30 yards better than them. I'm confused. How are they 4-1 and my team 2-3-1? I'm not understanding. I got a front runner for MVP. I'm not understanding. So I had to dissect this some more. I went and I looked up the charts. Man, let me tell you something. I saw Aaron Rodgers. I think he went like 18 for 29. No. Dak went 18 for 29. Aaron Rodgers was like 21 for 30. He missed less passes, but they both were like yards passing. Dak had him by like 4 yards. They both threw 4 TDs against the Jets. They both had they both gave up more time to the Jets in time of possession than they had the ball. So they both were scoring pretty fast. So I'm like, how are they 4-1 and we're 2-3? The gamesmanship was similar. So Tank, I had to dissect some more, and guess what I found? Guess what I found? Because a lot of people are arguing at me like, you can't blame Dak, and I'm not blaming Dak. But something's different. That's what I found out, man. I found out that when Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers have the lead, they hold the ball 9 minutes more than the Cowboys do. When Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers have the tie, they're holding the ball 7 minutes more because they're all getting in shootouts. I found out Baker Mayfield is holding the ball 11 minutes more than Dak does. He's getting in shootouts too when he's in the league, and he's holding it 9 minutes more than Dak when he's in a tie. So my question is, I want to know, because these are the things that you dissect early in the year, and then when you get to the playoffs,
Look at them again.
you don't know
And
you don't know how far you
pros. All right, we're having a little technical difficulty, but I'm sure KD be back in a moment to finish his last words on trying to figure out why the Steelers and the Cowboys are having to have the different records that they do, even though there's a gap on the offensive and defensive production. There's really not as big, so there's got to be a reason that he's looking for why they're still we're winning or they're winning and they're not winning. So we're going to see KD should be joining us back. But in the meantime, I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in, catching the No Jazz Show, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also share it with your friends. Make sure you tune in. You can reach us at nojazzshow.gmail.com, nojazzshow@gmail.com as well. So we appreciate y'all tuning in, and we will. Let's see how long it takes for KD is able to jump back in. Let me see where he is. Because he was going somewhere. And he was going somewhere. Oh. Okay. Hold on just a moment. Yeah, so he's having technical difficulties. So, hey, maybe we get his last words when we on our next broadcast. But I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to No Jazz Show. That's NOJASSHOW on Twitch, IG, TikTok, and also YouTube. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will talk with you all soon. Have a great weekend.